Hey guys, welcome back. So today we are doing something that I have never done before. Obviously, I mean, this is a video you only make like once in your life. So obviously. Today we're going to be talking about the 10 eyeshadow palettes that I wish would come back. So these are palettes that have either been discontinued or they were limited edition or whatever the case is. They're not available for sale right now and like I wish they would be. So we're going to talk about them. A lot of people that I'm subscribed to are actually doing this video right now. And it's funny because I feel like a lot of people have some of the same things to talk about. And when I sat down and really thought about like what are the 10 eyeshadow palettes that I wish would come back and like be for sale again, I feel like I have very different opinions than everybody else. Big shocker there. Let's just jump into it because I'm sure I will have a lot to say about these 10 eyeshadow palettes. I'm positive that I will. I will talk a lot. I want to talk about this one first because I just did a tutorial with it. I'll link it up here. This is the Kat Von D Mi Vida Loca Remix palette. I was going to say KVD Vegan Beauty, but this was obviously released when it was still Kat Von D, and this is clearly Kat Von D, so we're just going to say it's Kat Von D. I am so in love with this palette still. I mean, my love was rekindled when I did that tutorial, but it is just so beautiful to me. Look at the colors in here. Look at this layout. The pigmentation in here is wild. I just think this is such a beautiful palette. The colors in here are gorgeous. There are so many mattes in here, which you guys know I love. There's a matte black. There's a super dark brown. There's just everything you could ever want, and I love it so much. I don't know why I stopped reaching for it, but that's gonna stop. I'm gonna start reaching for it again. You just wait and see. Another ginormous palette that I want to talk about. This I feel like nobody ever talks about or talked about even when it came out, but I love this palette and this is definitely one of my most used palettes, and of course it's not available anymore. This is the Morphe Dare to Create 39A palette. All of Morphe's palettes that are in this like enormous packaging I feel like are such good quality, but that's besides the case. Let me show you the inside. It's hard because it's like so gigantic. I love this palette. I almost always reach for this eyeshadow palette. Like if I'm just doing my makeup and not filming or like not doing anything, this is like 9 times out of 10 the palette that I'll reach for. Like you have so many options with this palette, and I just feel like I don't know why nobody spoke about this ever because I love it. I think the quality in here is fantastic. You can see I clearly dig into the shade very often. There's a lot of shades in here that you can see are very well loved. I do have a tutorial using this. I'll link it up here. It's obviously pretty old because this is not for sale anymore. This is, without a doubt, the crustiest eyeshadow palette that I have in my collection. And when I show it to you, I feel like most people don't even know about this palette. That's how old it is. But if you know, then you know. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Amrezi palette. And I know you're looking at this and you're like, that's not the Amrezi palette that I have. Because the Amrezi palette that we all know is like glittery and pink. But no, this is the OG Amrezi palette. This came out, oh my God, so long ago. I don't even think I had a YouTube channel at this point when this came out. This is what the inside looks like right here. This was my favorite eyeshadow palette. This was my go-to eyeshadow palette for like actual years. The fact that this is not for sale anymore, the fact that people don't even know that this existed is like causing me pain. This is such a beautiful neutral eyeshadow palette. I feel like if I want to do a neutral eye, this is the perfect palette. You've got like the perfect mattes down here, except vanilla is not really a matte. It's almost like a satin. A little less shimmery than a satin. I don't know what you would call that. It's between a matte and a satin. Then you have on the top some beautiful shimmer shades. And I'm not really a shimmer shade kind of a girl, but I do like to have an inner corner shimmer. I love this so much. Still, this is stupid expired, but I will use it until all the pans are empty because it's just perfect. It's perfect. I know a lot of people were mentioning the Makeup by Mario palette by Anastasia, and I kind of don't get the hype around that palette. I'm sorry. I still have mine, but I don't ever use it, and the only reason I haven't gotten rid of it is because I know everybody loves it so much that I feel like I should hold on to it. Does that make any type of sense? I don't feel like it does. Another palette that I loved this palette for so long. I really, really loved this palette. This is the Makeup Geek and Manny MUA collab. This is the outside, you know what I'm saying? This is the inside here. I did also do a tutorial with this palette. I'll link it up here. I was so in love with this palette, and I can't even tell you why. These are like such neutral. Actually, I can tell you why. It's because of this red shade right here. It's amazing. It looks just like some random red shade in the pan, but it is the most beautiful red eyeshadow that you will ever apply to your eyes. I do really love all the shades that he chose in here. Obviously, Insomnia is gorgeous. This brown, this is one of the darkest, like most chocolatey, delicious browns that I've ever used in my life. And one of the most important things when I'm using a dark brown eyeshadow is that it is very rich and pigmented and buttery, and this is exactly that. I wish they would come back out with this because it was so good. I feel like this next one really kind of divided people into two groups. You either loved this palette or hated this palette. And I have to say, I always adored this palette. I thought it was so good, but I understand why people didn't like it. So this is the Dose of Colors Hidden Treasure palette. I know a lot of people did not like this palette because of this layout. Like, I get it. I understand your concerns. It does give my OCD just like, oh, it's got her on fire a little bit. But if you look past that, these eyeshadows are beautiful. You have the most beautiful shimmer eyeshadows that I have ever experienced in my entire life in this palette, which is the reason that I love it so much. I mean, you can see, like, I attacked this palette. Like, she is beat up. I do feel like this layout is, like, crazy. It's crazy. It's driving me crazy. But I get where they were going with this. I am not mad about it. I know a lot of people are, or were, because it's very old. But, I'm not mad. I know a lot of people were mentioning the Desi and Katie Friendcation palette. I like that palette, but I honestly don't feel like I reach for that palette as much as I still reach for this one. So this is the one for me. This palette I am obsessed with. This is the Me, Myself, and Mitchell palette by Beauty Bay. Alana got to this. I swear I didn't hit pan on it, even though I would, but like that was all Alana, I swear. It is so stinking beautiful. This is just everything to me. I am depressed that I can't get another one. I know, because I was literally gonna get another one just because Alana ruined this one shade and it's not available anymore. So it's fine. I'll just live with it. It's fine. I feel like Mama Mitchell does some of the most beautiful makeup looks that I've ever seen in my entire life. He inspires me so much. So when I saw he was coming out with this eyeshadow palette, like, I grabbed it immediately, and I just love every single shade in here. I feel like this is another one of those palettes that's just so well-rounded. You can complete so many different looks just with the shades in here. The only color that I feel like is really missing from in here is an inner corner highlight that is like just an inner corner highlight that doesn't have any type of shift to it. It does come with this like double-sided mirror, which I do use all the time, even when I'm not using this palette. So I just love this so much. Beauty Bay's formula is amazing. So another Kat Von D palette that was discontinued, and I have questions. I have questions. This is the Shade and Light Eye palette. I don't understand why you would do this. This is another obviously very neutral palette, but this one is all matte. This was probably one of the first all matte palettes that I ever owned, and I loved it so much for so long, and I still really love it. I mean, I'm not getting rid of this anytime soon. This is another one of those like extremely well-rounded palettes. I have gotten some of my favorite cool tone looks from this palette. And I just feel like, I mean, warm tone obviously as well. Like, you can do, I'm telling you, you can do anything. Okay, you've got neutral, you got it all. Okay, it's here. But where's the palette? The palette's not here. I don't understand what the reason behind getting rid of this was. And the mindset that Kat Von D or KVD Vegan Beauty, I'm not sure which one made the decision to get rid of this. I can't understand what you were on when you made this decision, but if you could just kindly bring her back, because some people really need to experience what this is. This next one is a collab, and I feel like I heard no one talk about it, and I don't understand it. And I'm pretty sure that Alana got into this palette too. Let me just open it up to make sure that I remember correctly. Oh no, she didn't. That was just me. This is the BH Cosmetics It's My Ray Ray palette. I mean, why? Why don't we have access to this? I mean, I understand why, because obviously it's a collab and usually that's the case, but does that have to be the case? Like, does it really have to be the case? I guess it does if you want to collab with other influencers besides the one. I don't like that this is not available anymore. This has some of the most deep, rich shades that any eyeshadow palette that I've ever had has. It has contour shades. It has highlight shades. And these all of these perform so well. I did so many makeup looks. I think you can see, like, I really loved this palette for a while. You know, BH Cosmetics is so inexpensive. So the fact that they gave us all of this goodness in one palette is ridiculous. This color Angel and this color Moonlight, they're extremely similar, except one's an eyeshadow, one's a highlighter. Beautiful. Probably the most beautiful eyeshadow slash highlighter that you will ever come across. It's so good. I love this palette so much. This was like one of the first ones that came to my mind when I thought about doing this video. I was like, oh yeah, it's my Ray Ray palette. Yeah. This along with the Mitchell palette, these are probably my two favorite palettes in this entire video. So if you are not listening, no brands, if no other brands want to listen besides Beauty Bay and Sigma, listen, I need it back. I need backups. I wasn't aware of the situation when I bought it, but I actually need backups. I love this eyeshadow palette so much. This is the Dream palette in collaboration with Beauty Bird. This is what the inside looks like. This is probably the best, most well-rounded eyeshadow palette that I own. It is actually perfect, and I'm not just saying that because my middle name is one of the shades, okay? My middle name is right here. It's Milagro. Although my middle name is technically Milagros, but you know what? I'll throw an S on there. It's not a big deal. This palette actually has endless possibilities. You have two highlighters at the end, both of which are beautiful. One of which is called Libra, which I am. The mattes perform amazing. The shimmers in here are actually gorgeous metallic shimmers. I did, I think only one tutorial with it. I'll link it up here. I'm not sure because I used it so many times. I'm not sure if I use it on camera or not, but I'm pretty sure it was only one tutorial that I did. But I love it so much. I love it so much. Look at all the color. Look at all the juiciness, the depth. it's a perfect palette. And I wouldn't expect anything else from Beauty Bird. I loved it. I just loved it. I still love it. And I want it back. Hello there. I am obviously filming this little piece on a completely separate day than what you guys saw for the entire video. And that is because I can't count. So I don't think we're surprised. Maybe we are because I got a degree in math, but it's fine. So for my 10th palette, I do want to talk about the Melt Muerte palette. I did bring both the Vida and the Muerte just for fun. But really, I like the Muerte a lot better. I have used both of these palettes. I just love the color selection in Muerte so much. It's so rich, so deep. I just love how dark these shadows are. I did do a tutorial with this palette as well. I'll link it up here. Just in case you guys want to see it, okay? I actually did also do a tutorial with the Vida palette, but I never uploaded it because that was like, I filmed that and then like the next day went on a year hiatus. But besides the point, this palette is for sure one of my favorites. It is just so delicious, so deep. I am like 99.9% positive that my daughter got into this because like what is happening right? What is that? This is so like Dia de los Muertes, like perfect. The theme was just so perfect and it was executed so well. I kind of get why they wouldn't want to just bring this back, but maybe bring this back as like maybe a seasonal collection or maybe bring this back like one more time during this October. Like I feel like that would be smart. I love Melt Cosmetics as a brand. You guys know this by now. I just think they do everything so well. Everything is so well thought out. All of the artwork, all of the shades in the palettes or the lipstick range or whatever it is that they're doing, that definitely showed with this entire collection. But especially that Muerte palette because that one is just like, that one is special. The Vida is special too. But, you know, Muerte takes the cake. And that's just what it is. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. You guys go talk to Katie from a couple of days ago now. So that is it. Those are all 10 palettes. I honestly wish I could speak to every single brand and just say, listen, you had a banger. Why'd you do that to me? Why'd you do that to me? Was that personal? Did I do something to you? I love all 10 of these eyeshadow palettes so much and I use them all the time off camera. Honestly, I'm kind of thinking maybe I want to use them on camera because I'm sure that some of you guys have these palettes. Let me know if you guys would be okay with me using limited edition eyeshadow palettes on camera, things that you can't get anymore. I mean, I feel like I wouldn't mind, like if I saw somebody post a video that said Resi palette tutorial, I would lose it. Obviously with the OG Resi palette, not the new one. The new one is okay. I feel like I should have mentioned that. The new one is all right, but I definitely prefer the OG one. That is it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Please don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you did like it. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not already. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Twitter and Snapchat and TikTok That's all of them, all 4. That's all of them right there. Follow me. I mean, you might as well. I'm pretty cool, I think, on those platforms. Maybe not so much on here, but on those platforms, I'm pretty cool. I think. Maybe. No? Okay. I would love to know what are some of the limited edition eyeshadow palettes that you guys wish would come back. Let me know what you guys like. Do you like any of the palettes that I spoke about today? Do you wish any of these would come back? Do you hate, you know, specifically the Hidden Treasures palette by Dose of Colors? I know everyone hates that freaking palette. That's all that I have to say, so I will see you guys in my next video. Bye. I'm really annoying myself right now. I'm annoying the fuck out of myself.